first episode of the Playmakers Podcast. My name is Neff,
I'm Topher.
and we'll be bringing to you the latest news every week of what's happening in sports, what's good and what's bad, the scoop on who's gotten fired, who's gotten hired. Whatever you want, we got it here.
We are in peak season for hiring and firing. Unless your name's Eric Bieniemy. Oh, the poor guy. What does he have to do to get a head coach job?
You know, it's
Like
and I don't think anyone was surprised about Adam Gase getting fired from the Jets. I mean, that was just a dumb fire. There. I mean, that was expected from like week 5. I mean, everyone knew he was out. That man is not head coach material.
I think the worst thing about Adam Gase being fired is that he was hired to replace Todd Bowles, right? And Todd Bowles, got fired for going like 8-8.
Yeah.
He gets fired for being mediocre, and they hired an Adam Gase and gets so much worse so fast.
And then the thing is, they tell him to, keep losing, just tank. We'll get Trevor Lawrence. No, he couldn't even do that right. The draft went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. What can you do?
Oh God, the Jets are a mess. Jags are also kind of a mess, but they're a much more interesting mess.
Yeah, but they hired Urban Meyer, so I mean, I'm interested to see where that goes, but I've only seen Urban Meyer ever coach college football, and normally people go from the professional level to the collegiate level. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's an interesting one to be sure. Let's, instead of talking about bad teams, let's talk about the teams who actually don't suck. All right. Packers, Bucs.
Packers, Bucs. Quite a game.
Yes. Is there anything bigger in that game than Matt LaFleur kicking a field goal on 4th and goal?
I don't think so. You got Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, arguably one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league right now and has been for quite some time. I think you go for it on 4th down, no matter how long to the goal line it is.
Like, you have to go for it on 4th down.
Especially if there's 2 minutes left in the game and you're giving the ball to Tom Brady, the Tom Brady.
And I understand their reasoning that they have 3 timeouts, 2-minute warning. Like, there is time theoretically, but it's only 2 minutes. Like, you need a 3 and out. That is so much pressure on your defense. The opportunity to get a chance that close to the goal line down a touchdown.
And there are even some touchdowns that the Bucs got in the first half that shouldn't even have. Like the one deep bomb to Scotty Miller where he burned his man and Tom Brady just lasered that in there. It's just absurd how many plays like that they got. And looking at the stats, Aaron Rodgers was the better quarterback in the game. Tom Brady, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 280 yards.
Honestly, in the second half of that game, like, Tom Brady was losing that game.
Yeah, Tom Brady was losing that game.
Almost single-handedly.
Aaron Rodgers had 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 346 yards.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers was playing great. I don't know why you don't put the ball in your best player's hands. That's like a big rule, and not just football, but really all sports, is at the end of the game and the big plays that mean the most, you put the ball in your best player's hands.
Like, you see what Deshaun Watson did in the 2019 season, first week against the Saints.
You put the ball in your best player's hands. Don't think too hard about these things. Like, I don't know. It's just so stupid to me.
Deshaun Watson scored a touchdown from his own. Was it the 5-yard line? It was deep in their own territory. He got a score within 30 seconds, leaving like 20 seconds. And even though the Saints won, I mean, it wasn't Deshaun Watson's fault.
Exactly. You got to let your dudes make plays. All right. Aaron Rodgers should have had a chance to win. Everyone's talking about Tom Brady, right?
Mm-hmm.
How ridiculous is this guy? He is 43. Drew Brees looks like he's ancient and can't even move, and he's 2 years younger than Tom Brady.
Yep.
Like, I don't even understand this anymore.
What was his deal this year? He had 11 fractured ribs.
Drew Brees, yeah, he got beat the hell out of. Like he got crushed. But Brady, he stays healthy. Outside of that one injury in like 2007 where he blew out his ACL in like week 1, he's been healthy and he's been consistently great. Like he threw for what, like 30, 40 touchdowns this year, something like that.
43 in the regular season.
Like that's ridiculous. That is a legit Pro Bowl season, and he's 43 years old.
He's the oldest quarterback to ever do it that well.
Like, I know Peyton was really good. His first couple years in Denver, and he was like mid 30s, right? But like, this is just something else. This is just ridiculous. I saw someone say, I don't remember who tweeted it, but they were like, what Tom Brady's doing in Tampa is the equivalent to if Michael Jordan had taken the Wizards to the finals. And that's true, right? Because it's like they're definitely past it. They're playing on a bad franchise. Even if this is a good team in Tampa, this is a bad franchise. They have done literally nothing outside of like that one season in 2002.
I mean, they did hire Bruce Arians, which was a good idea.
That is true. Like the past 2 years or so in Tampa.
Even Bruce Arians admitted himself. He said, sometimes I just sit back and watch the game and let Tom pick the plays.
Yeah. That like culture that they have with Bruce Arians, the whole setup they have, they've completely transformed everything in Tampa. And Tom Brady's like that final piece, because they also had signs last year. They had good moments, but Jameis Winston's just too inconsistent and too mistake prone to really put it all together. But like Bruce Arians is a great head coach, and his staff is incredible. Byron Leftwich is one of the best young offensive minds in all of football and should be considered for a head coach job, if not in the NFL, at least in college somewhere. He is a great young coach, and people forget he's the play caller in Tampa Bay, not Bruce Arians. And of course, Tom Brady will check audibles, stuff like that, and have a lot of input. But Byron Leftwich is the primary play caller, right? Great offensive coach. And Todd Bowles, excellent defensive coordinator. People forget before he was the Jets coach, he was the defense coordinator in Arizona with Bruce Arians. That defense was great and like the best Cardinals teams ever, except for that time they went to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. This is just a great staff, a lot of talent. They've drafted really well. I think at their first round picks recently, Devin White, superstar linebacker, makes plays. Vita Vea, he was a first round pick recently, makes big plays. Chris Godwin was like a second round pick, something like that. He's one of the best receivers in the league.
The rookie corner.
Yeah, there you go. Like they just have so many good young players that they've acquired the past couple seasons.
He was out last game this for the conference championship with an ankle. Antoine Winfield.
Yeah, and he was
their best cover corner.
He is a great defensive back. He makes plays. He changed the game last week against the Saints. He had that big force fumble on, I think it was Cook, the tight end, right?
Yeah, Jared Cook.
Yeah, he punches it, strips it out. Devin White makes the big recovery. Like, man.
Devin White's speed is something else, though. For a linebacker, oh my God.
This is something else I want to talk about. The Bucs defense is so fun. These dudes are just playmakers.
Shaquille Barrett with Vita Vea. Do they have Ndamukong Suh?
They do have Ndamukong Suh. He's their other big nose tackle on the inside.
So they got Vita Vea, Shaquille Barrett coming off the edge.
JPP on the other edge.
Jason Pierre, yeah.
Like all three levels, they just have dudes who make plays. Yeah, Barrett and Paul, like ridiculous edge rushers, especially this year. They have 6 sacks yesterday against Aaron Rodgers?
They had 5.
Yeah, like that's great. That's really good. And I know they're missing some guys on their offensive line in Green Bay, but that's still a good unit. And they harassed them. And then you move to the linebackers. You have one of the most athletic linebacker duos in a fat minute with Levante David and Devin Bush. Those dudes are so fast.
No, Devin White.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
Devin Bush is.
I say that's the Steelers guy, who's also really fast for what it's worth.
Also really fast and good,
but no, Devin White, Levante David. Those dudes. You know who they remind me of? They remind me of Jacksonville. When they were good, they made the AFC Championship. They had linebacker. They had Miles Jack and Telvin Smith.
Yeah.
And those dudes could just run all over the field. Ridiculous tacklers, big playmakers. And they are just this defense, they're just really exciting.
And can we talk about forcing Aaron Rodgers out of the pocket, but he can still make plays?
I mean, yeah, there are just sometimes with a quarterback that good where you just like, what do you do? Like, what do you do?
I mean, you saw what he did to the linebacker from the Rams the other week. Floyd, last name?
Leonard Floyd, yeah.
Leonard Floyd.
I mean, it's just silly. And the best thing you can do against those kind of quarterbacks is just, I mean, they're going to get theirs. It's going to happen. You just have to play good in the red zone, make big plays, and force turnovers, right? And they did all three of those. Packers had to settle for field goals in the goal line despite being one of the best red zone offenses.
What happened to that one touchdown that they scored? And did they miss the extra point? Or did they go for a 2-point and miss it?
They went for a 2-point, and then Equinemius St. Brown dropped the 2-point, which makes me very sad because I love EQ, Notre Dame legend. Big Chief. Oh, I saw him block a punt or recover a block punt in the end zone against USC when he was a freshman. It's the best. It was like one of the best moments ever. So sad that he's kind of mediocre in the NFL. I want him to be good. He has such a fun name. Equinemius.
And can we talk about Carlton Brown getting smoked by Marquez Valdez-Scantling?
Oh, poor Carlton Davis, man. That guy. He's a good corner, though, for what it's worth. Physical guy. But when you get a big receiver with speed like Valdez-Scantling, down the sideline, press man coverage, Aaron Rodgers, it's over.
Michael Thomas was clowning him all game.
Oh, my God. Michael Thomas, man.
Michael Thomas had 0 catches last week, and the reason was Carlton Davis.
Mike Thomas is
that boy himself.
He's throwing all this crap at Carlton Davis this week, right? You saw all that Twitter stuff where he's like trying to defend himself and also throw shit on him. But like Mike Thomas, he didn't deliver. Did he deliver? No. You got to make plays. You got to shut down. Deal with it. Move on. Come back next season stronger.
It's like Chase Claypool.
Honestly, yeah. Chase, another guy I really love. Notre Dame special teams guy. He's a lot of fun player, but you gotta take it on the chin and move on. That's just what you gotta do. Who's not taking it on the chin is Aaron Rodgers, who in his post-game press conference was very cryptic, saying his future is uncertain in Green Bay, despite being there for over a decade, one of the best players in franchise history. Does he leave?
Bring him to Indy. Bring Aaron Rodgers to Indy. Make Indy great again.
But will he leave? Do you realistically think he's going to leave Green Bay?
I honestly think that his relationship with Matt LaFleur is not the best.
And then you remember
Matt LaFleur is a young guy. He did not draft any wide receivers. He drafted a quarterback, which if we can remember what happened to Brett Favre when they drafted Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I remember since then, that feels like the relationship between him and the organization's a little rocky because they didn't boost his receiving core really anywhere. They didn't really draft anybody or get free agents. They're lucky that they've developed guys through later round draft picks, but still.
If Aaron Rodgers leaves, I mean, Devontae Adams might as well ask for a trade.
There's a lot of people who are probably very frustrated with the Packers on that team. And if someone
Jamal Adams, where did that come from? Aaron Jones is a free agent this offseason.
He is.
Everyone thinks he's going to go to Miami because Miami needs some weapons and they have the cap room for it.
That's another issue with the Packers, right? They could lose their star running back. If Aaron Rodgers forces his way out, who knows what happens with Devontae Adams because those two have such a tight chemistry. What do you think it would take to get Rodgers out? What do you think his value is, though, on the trade?
I mean, that would easily be – I would give I would give my first round, my second round, my third round, and then the first round of the next year's draft.
So yeah,
And,
he's
and
worth a
maybe,
lot. He's worth a ton. He is the MVP this season. Even if he
yeah,
doesn't win it, which
definitely.
he probably will, he is the MVP this season. He's what,
Sorry to Pat Mahomes.
37?
Patrick Mahomes is really fun. He's great. He's an awesome player, but
Aaron
Aaron
Rodgers was the MVP this year.
Aaron Rodgers
Undeniable.
really played out of his mind this year.
I don't think if you're on the trade market, he would be as worth as much as Deshaun Watson because Deshaun's 25
Yeah,
and Aaron Rodgers is like 37. But he's still got to be worth at least a first round pick and plus quite a bit more.
I mean, if I was Chris Ballard, I would absolutely. I mean, if I was any GM for any team that needs a quarterback, that needs a veteran quarterback,
These win now teams, your Indy, maybe New England, Pittsburgh, even like these
I
teams
don't.
that need a quarterback
I
now.
think New England. I think Bill Belichick wants to rebuild there because after this season, Cam Newton's not coming back.
Yeah, but maybe what if he goes to like as you say, Indy? Their roster's pretty much complete outside of a quarterback.
Yeah.
Washington, even
Um,
they're not quite as there as Indy, as far there as Indy, but they're still.
Washington isn't quite as there as Indy, but they're getting there. They got the young players. They got Scary Terry, Chase Young.
They got some fun. They got some fun dudes. I would actually prefer them have a younger quarterback because a lot of their skilled dudes are younger, as you said, McLaurin, or their defensive guys a lot younger. I prefer them to get like if they could trade for Deshaun Watson somehow.
Yeah.
That would be a cool fit.
Let's see
here's an idea for a Rodgers trade, right? I just thought of this, right? Aaron Rodgers, when he originally was in the draft and his whole life growing up, he was a huge San Francisco 49ers fan. I remember I read a story one time is that when he was like a kid, he would always wear a Joe Montana jersey, like under his jersey, like under his shoulder pads, right? What if the Niners come in with a grandfather offer of like a bunch of first round, like a couple first round picks, maybe Jimmy G, if you like, if the Packers are interested in him. I feel like that's a great trade for the Niners and Packers. Like Packers are kind of screwed if he wants his way out.
They really don't have the receiving core that they did with who they have Super Bowl year. They had Emmanuel Sanders.
Last year, yeah, they had Emmanuel Sanders, but they still have Debo Samuel. He's a fun player. They have that kid out of Arizona State,
Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, he's a fun talent. And then
Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed's a new addition there.
Jordan Reed had a huge renaissance here this year. And then George Kittle. That like at least second best tight end. So there are weapons there. And then Shanahan is one of the better like offensive minds we have in football. He is great. I mean, Matt Ryan had an MVP year, and Matt Ryan is a good quarterback. Matt Ryan is not an MVP quarterback. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Garoppolo is an okay quarterback who looked like a great quarterback at times. So if you put in a truly elite, like one of the 5 best quarterbacks to ever play football, and pure talent-wise and pure ability, and honestly resume, let's be real here. Yeah. All right, we're gonna talk some Chiefs Bills.
Yeah. We've already had enough of the whole Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers discussion. I'm kind of pleased that the Bucs won because honestly, first of all, I didn't expect it because, for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. The Packers, I just love Aaron Rodgers. That man is a great player, and he deserves some respect because, as Stephen A. says, Aaron Rodgers is a bad dude. He is a bad dude.
And as is Pat Mahomes. That guy in the playoffs with those weapons and that coach and that offensive coordinator.
He came back from a concussion protocol like Friday.
And he's just slinging it. He's just slinging it.
Slinging the rock. Like 3 touchdowns, maximum ball protection, 0 interceptions.
No turnovers. He didn't really put the ball in harm's way that often.
Sometimes he can be risky, but this game, he just You know,
It's funny. You say that he can be risky because he is a true gunslinger in that way, but he doesn't turn it over very much. Like, I think in his entire postseason career, which is already like 3 seasons, he's thrown like 1 interception. It's ridiculous. All right. I love Pat Mahomes, but I feel like his weapons kind of destroyed Buffalo more than Pat
yeah.
Mahomes did. Tyreek Hill
You
was
see
a
that play?
monster.
Tyreek Hill is an animal. He is an animal.
That,
Travis Kelce. Can we talk about Travis Kelce really fast?
oh,
This
man.
man has the stature of Calvin Johnson. He has the blocking skills of a lineman. He's got the hands of I would say Chris Carter, but Chris Carter, in my opinion, is one of the best catching receivers in NFL history. I wouldn't say he's there, but he's damn near close. He is damn near close.
There was one play last night. It was like early in the game. It was like a 3rd and 9. And Travis Kelce, he makes this catch. It's all hands catch. And he gets absolutely bodied by Trey White, the corner who's coming around. And that ball is glued in his hands. That dude has a weapon. Speaking NFL teams, if you want a weapon that good, please actually draft Kyle Pitts where he belongs. Just quick reminder. Kyle Pitts is absolutely that dude. Anyway, Tyreek Hill is one of the most athletic people I've ever seen in my entire life. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
I mean,
and can we talk about how is Darrell Williams a running back?
Yes. He's their second choice running back behind Edwards-Helaire.
After Le'Veon Bell. I like how Le'Veon Bell went to Kansas City. Nothing.
I mean, they don't need him.
They really don't.
Honestly, they don't really need their running back in general. But when they do, Edwards-Helaire, Williams, they get the job done. They're good enough.
I think Le'Veon Bell should go to a team that actually needs him.
He did. It was the Jets, and it went pretty bad.
Return to Pittsburgh.
There you go. That's what they need.
That's what they need.
Let's bring back Triple B.
It will still be terrible because that Steelers O-line is just a horde.
The Steelers are a whole different mess. Yeah, that is something for another day. We can talk about the many issues the Steelers have. They need a fix. But Buffalo, they were really disappointing.
Okay. I was watching ESPN all week. Everyone was so hyped for not just the Bucs and Packers. We all knew that was going to be a banger of a game. Mm-hmm. Rodgers and Tom Brady on both sides of the ball. Can we talk about how Josh Allen? They said that Josh Allen was already at Patrick Mahomes' level. He is not.
Disrespectful. Honestly, disrespectful.
He is a transcendent talent. I say Josh Allen is top 5 in the quarterbacks this season. 100%. Josh Allen.
Great quarterback.
Josh Allen was the most improved quarterback this year.
You could even say he had a better season than Pat Mahomes. That's a valid argument. But
but nothing compares to 25-year-old Patrick Mahomes.
Nothing compares.
A Super Bowl MVP.
Nothing compares.
Super Bowl ring, an MVP.
It's unreal. Like his early success is at that Tom Brady level because Brady won like 3 Super Bowls right in a row, like in his 2nd through 4th year, something like that. Mm-hmm. But Pat Mahomes has that level of success while also individually being much better. And
because Tom Brady was just in a good system that fit him
for a while. When he was young, before he really took off, he was mostly a system guy. And then once he started to develop and really fully understand everything, he became his own thing.
Yeah,
as much a system guy.
But I say Josh Allen still had an incredible game. He may have not had.
Josh Allen had a frustrating game. He made a lot of good plays, but there are moments with Josh Allen, man, that really frustrate me. Like, especially when he's under pressure. Like, the guy has to step up in the pocket more often. he just lets himself get pushed back, and he took 2 sacks that were both like 20+ yard sacks.
He runs outside the pocket. He tries to get out of the pocket, which is understandable.
But sometimes, man.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to step up and sling.
And I think a big part of that is that his feet like don't move in the pocket. There are highlights where I'm not saying like he just kind of stands in one place. He literally stands in one place where he is just completely stationary.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even like shuffling or anything, just dead. I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback do that. But to be fair, I don't know how many quarterbacks I've seen move the way he does at his size.
Yeah. Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert's not as like beefy though.
He's not as beefy, but they're the same height.
But Josh Allen's legitimately like Cam Newton.
Josh Allen's just huge. Josh Allen
is Cam Newton with a prettier throwing motion.
Josh Allen is like Big Ben except
fast. But he let his team down a little bit. I would say his coach let him down a little bit. They kicked a lot of conservative field goals. They like 2 or 3 times in the red zone, like 4th and 3.
Yeah.
It's like field goal time.
At one point, they had scored 12 points.
And they had opportunities to just go for it. Just like we said with Aaron Rodgers, put the ball in your best player's hands and let him make plays.
Stephon Diggs. What?
Do that. Run that Chiefs play where you have the little rollout right out to Tyreek Hill, but do it with Stephon Diggs. There you go.
Stephon Diggs has been working on his game. He worked on his game this past offseason while he was still with Minnesota.
Buffalo reaped the rewards.
Buffalo, yeah.
Although I don't think the Vikings probably aren't too upset because shout out Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson's a good player still.
And he's got Adam Thielen to learn from.
He does. Adam
Thielen is kind of nasty on that release.
He's say it. As far as second receivers go, he is probably the best second receiver.
Actually, Julio. No, okay. Where would you say Deshaun Watson is going to land?
It depends what he wants.
Because not only is this year's draft class amazing,
one of the best quarterback draft classes of all time.
Yes.
At least on paper. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. But there are some quarterbacks that there's Deshaun Watson who confirmed that he wants out of Houston no matter who they hire as head coach.
Mm-hmm. Man, if Eric Bieniemy can't save Deshaun Watson, that is a bad organization.
You got Matthew Stafford, who parted ways with Detroit earlier this week.
Great quarterback. Love Matt Stafford.
Great quarterback. Very underrated. One of the most underrated quarterbacks, in my opinion, in NFL history.
Of course, because he's played his whole career in Detroit.
Aaron Rodgers is uncertain.
Potentially on his way out.
I would say Ryan Fitzpatrick is out of Miami.
I mean, that's a good at least backup option or mentor option like you did with Tua. Mm-hmm. If you draft one of those rookie quarterbacks, especially one who's not as polished, if you draft Trey Lance out of North Dakota State and you want a veteran guy to help him out, Ryan Fitzpatrick is a great option for that. A lot of quarterbacks out there.
But I'm just saying Tua may be out of Miami. I
think that would be wrong.
If they do,
unless they get Deshaun Watson, that is the wrong decision.
Yeah. But Tua potentially, if they get Deshaun Watson, I would say bench Tua for about a year or two. Let him learn. He doesn't have the big arm.
I do think they rushed him. He's just not. But here's the thing: he does have the arm. He's just not. He just doesn't have everything together in the NFL right now.
Yeah, he was a great quarterback at Alabama.
Pure ability to throw the football far and hard. He is great at that. When he was at the Elite 11, they did like their longest throw contest. He threw the ball like 73 yards. The man has a cannon. I don't know what's going on with Miami that he can't.
I think he's just not ready.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ready to be.
I mean, on that note, he probably should have stayed at Alabama another year. You know? I understand that money was there, but he just doesn't look ready. But I love Tua. I hope he gets a chance. I hope they don't punt on him too soon. Unless they trade for Deshaun Watson, in which case, fair play to you.
I mean, Deshaun Watson, Tua.
There is not like literally the only team that should turn down a trade for Deshaun Watson is Kansas City.
Yeah.
I am not convinced 100% certainty that
What are
Deshaun Watson isn't the
what
second best quarterback.
if you can name them on your hands? What 10 teams do you think do not need Deshaun Watson?
The Chiefs. I guess the Bills because they want to draw Josh Allen. He's good enough. So I guess I'll say the Bills. I mean, there are teams with young quarterbacks, young good quarterbacks that won't trade for him, but he's better than Kyler Murray. He's better than
Lamar.
Lamar.
I say he's better than Lamar.
He's better than
I'm
Lamar.
saying I'm gonna.
I don't even think that's all that controversial. Like I love
This is-
Lamar. He's a good player, but Deshaun Watson is just that guy.
This is gonna make a lot of people very upset, but I think Lamar Jackson is a very good quarterback, but Deshaun Watson's just better.
Deshaun Watson,
Lamar may have that explosive speed that you want in a quarterback that to just take off and go,
Mhm.
and he's also got the talent in the arm.
Mhm.
But Deshaun Watson is just so. Deshaun Watson has the game sense.
He is the perfect all-around quarterback, especially in the modern sense. As we've pivoted away from your Tom Brady's, these like traditional pocket guys, he is the perfect modern quarterback because he can run, but he's not like only a runner. He
Mhm.
has a strong arm, but he's not a risky gunslinger all the time.
Yeah,
He's accurate.
I'd say the closest archetype to Deshaun Watson is Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, good comp.
Except
They have that similar energy. I think that's fair.
Deshaun's bigger than him too.
He is bigger.
So he's got that buffness that you want.
Deshaun Watson is surprisingly buff. Yeah, that's a good point. The Texans really messed up. You do not let a player this good want to leave.
You think they'll have all three Watt brothers in Pittsburgh?
I don't think that's a good decision if Pittsburgh wanted him, unless he gets cut because he asked to be cut, which I don't think that's cap possible. But if that was a possibility, that's the only way that's happening.
I mean, I get you have who's the big D tackle?
Well, honestly, he doesn't fit their system. He's a 4-3 defensive end. Pittsburgh uses a lot of like 3-4 guys. Like typically their down edge rushers are more linebacker types, like his brother TJ, Bud Dupree. I mean, that's just the Steelers' identity for the past forever. But
yeah,
they like their big defensive ends. Tuitt is a huge dude. Hayward's a huge dude. They like a Tyson Alualu. That's another big guy. Why is it always about the Steelers? How do we always end up on the Steelers? Is that going to be a running theme throughout this show? Is that we'll be talking about something completely different and it always ends up on the Steelers?
It ends up on the Steelers. Just how
my inner Pittsburgh reveals itself, and we always talk about the Steelers.
Like, damn, maybe I should have been a Pittsburgh fan.
Dude, I've spent a lot of time in Pittsburgh growing up in Western Pennsylvania. A lot of Pittsburgh fans in my family. The Nets. The Nets. Let's just jump right in with the Nets.
Right in the Nets. The big Brooklyn Three. Can we talk about how James Harden completely finessed Houston? Like my man looked like he had way too many Twinkies at the strip club.
He was looking so out of shape and like he didn't give like even half of a crap.
That looked like a beer belly, 100%.
I mean, but honestly, with that, like I know it's it is pretty funny. Like let's be real, it's pretty funny. It's also like legitimately disrespectful to the Houston Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just didn't even try this season.
Yeah.
He was just like, I want out, trade me, and like threw a fit and was not a good teammate. I saw that quote from there's a quote from Boogie right when he got traded, Boogie Cousins. And he's like, he just gave up on us. He was a bad teammate, which, come on, man, be better.
Come on, man.
But he's in Brooklyn now with two other MLS minority owners, Steve Nash and Kevin Durant. Also, Kyrie Irving is there sometimes.
Sometimes.
Look, no disrespect to Kyrie. From the sound of it, he does a lot of stuff. But the fact is, he just misses time sometimes. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, they have a true big three legitimate all NBA talents. Does it work?
They got DeAndre Jordan too, at the 5, at the 1.
That's true. They have a lot of experienced star players, but does it work? Do they make the finals?
No.
Why?
You have 3 ball-hungry players.
Mm-hmm.
Ball dominant. Kyrie is always with the handles.
Mm-hmm.
KD is always with the points. James Harden only shoots 3 and travels all the time. Never gets called. I don't think that's a recipe for success.
I do understand that. And they don't have the balance of like the Warriors' big three. Because the Warriors' big three, you have Steph who can handle and shoot, Clay who is perfectly comfortable just being a spot-up shooter, and KD who can pretty much fill everything in between scoring-wise, right? Mm-hmm. They have that nice balance.
They didn't even need – they could have played 3-on-5, and I think –
they would score enough points 3-on-5.
Score enough points.
And so I do see that this Brooklyn Big Three does not have that balance. That is just true.
I think the balance was perfectly fine with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I think James Harden does complicate matters. But the one thing that people do forget when they talk about will it work is that these guys really like each other and like playing with each other. Like James Harden and Kevin Durant are very good friends. Kyrie and Kevin Durant are very good friends. And that does matter. I feel like these guys will be happier to take like a backseat some nights because it's their buddy doing stuff, right?
Yeah.
They can work with their buddy. That chemistry, that means a lot. And I think that the best big threes, these best like superstar trios have that chemistry. The Heatles big three, Bosh, Wade, LeBron, those guys, they had that chemistry. And I know Bosh took that tertiary role, but you remember before that, he was a legit superstar. He was an all-star starter with the Raptors.
Yeah.
It's a big time player, and he's willing to take more of a backseat.
You had Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett in Boston.
And guys are something like, at least when it's working well, guys were willing to take more of a backseat. Now, I don't know. We haven't seen very much of all three of them playing together. And maybe over the course of the season, some guys will get frustrated. Some guys will get upset.
Bro, Paul and Sexton just...
And maybe stuff will happen where Colin Sexton drops 40 on them and they lose in double overtime twice. But I still think I think they do make a deep playoff run. Do they get past Giannis? I don't know. Could Boston get in their way? Maybe.
I mean, Giannis isn't playing his best basketball this year.
That's fair, but I don't know. I feel like Giannis is at that tier of player where they're just always good. They turn it up when they have to.
I don't know what happened to that Bucs team, man. I don't know what happened to that Bucs team. They found a better player in Drew Holiday than they had in Eric Bledsoe. And it's not working. It's just not.
I have faith that they'll fix it though. They're still going to be up there. Boston will be up there. Because NBA, teams could struggle out the bit.
Going off.
Exactly.
And they got Kemba back now. So
Boston. I'll change my mind. It's not that they won't get through the Bucs. The Nets and Boston, that's going to be the best teams in the East, right? Surely. I would put my money on it. And then the best team's the Lakers, right? Surely. Is anybody like in any sport anywhere more impressive than LeBron?
I think the combo between JaVale McGee starting and Dwight Howard being his sub was a very good addition to the team. It gave them balance.
But they lost that. Now
they got
Philly. JaVale's in Cleveland, I think.
Yeah, they got 3 big boys. They got 4. They've got Kevin Love, Andre Drummond, Jarrett Allen, and JaVale McGee.
The Cavs are going to play mega ball.
Colin Sexton.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't the Lakers get
Montrezl Harrell and Dennis Schroeder?
Yes, but didn't they also get Marc Gasol?
Yeah, they did.
So they're still loaded. They're still playing well. They're winning games. They have two of the 5 best players in basketball.
Let's see the standings here. Who's the best team right now?
My guess is the Lakers.
It's both LA teams. They're the best teams in the league right now.
There you go. Is that really a surprise? Not really. Paul George is playing way better.
What happened to Paul George? What happened to Paul George? Where was that Paul George last year? Where was he?
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he had to transition to the new world, to the Clippers, to the COVID, everything. I give Paul George a pass. This is his year to prove it.
Would you give Kawhi Leonard a pass? Last year he did not play like MVP.
I give him a pass. Last year I give pretty much everybody a pass, and especially guys who were on new teams. Because last year was a really weird year, especially down the stretch and in the bubble and in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then changing to a new team in any sport, in any league, is always going to be weird.
He didn't have the same trainer that he did when he got MVP. He said in the offseason, he said, I'm getting back with my same trainer that I got for MVP.
There you go. That and stuff like that can matter sometimes, both physically and mentally.
And also, I know we're talking about the best teams here, but is everyone sleeping on the Knicks?
I think everyone might be talking too much about the Knicks. I understand they're like 500, and they are, I think, the best defensive team in the entire league, which is baffling to me.
They took Boston and absolutely tore them a new one.
Like, respect, honestly, to the Knicks for being so competent. Like, mad respect to Tom Thibodeau, to all those young guys, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson. What?
Obi Toppin.
Obi Toppin. They I mean, if the Knicks make the playoffs, pop the champagne.
Really well.
What was that?
Austin Rivers? He's playing well.
I want to see the Knicks make the playoffs with this scrappy upstart team, because that's just a good story.
That's also a good sign.
That is a good sign. That they can
I haven't seen a
build
Knicks
a core.
I haven't seen a Knicks team this well since Carmelo and JR.
That peak Melo, like what? That year they made like the 4th seed in like 2011, something like that. Turn of the decade. But yeah, because I mean they've drafted a lot of top 10 picks past couple of years, and they need some of these guys to start making good.
Was Chris Paul a move for Phoenix?
I mean, I guess, why not? Can't hurt, really. I don't see much of a risk to it. I don't like it for Oklahoma City, but
oh, how's Oklahoma doing? Awful? Not that bad.
I don't know. I just liked the balance of Chris Paul, the veteran leader, with Shai Gilgeous and all the other guys.
You know the one team I'm very disappointed in?
Orlando.
Won't ever say that again. I hope Markelle comes back next year healthier than ever. I respect that man. Markelle is such a
Markelle. Get well soon. Great player. Awesome player.
I'm sorry. You may be replaced by Cole Anthony. Just kidding. We love you, Markelle.
All right, but who are you actually disappointed by?
The Pelicans.
Yes.
Pelicans.
Oh, my. Zion, where are you at?
They've got Lonzo. They've got J.J. Redick as a veteran who's a great spot-up shooter. He's trying to do too much. You got Zion. You got Steven Adams. And you got – who's the last starter for them?
I don't know who's actually starting, but they got Jackson Hayes, another talented young guy.
Hold on.
They have that one guard whose name escapes me.
They're like bottom 5 in the league.
And, you know, the big reason is like last year towards the end of the season, Zion was an MVP level player. He was a monster. but that is gone. It's not completely gone. He's still like an okay player, but he is
They
not
got-
that good.
Brandon Ingram. How did I?
Oh yeah, he's their superstar. Completely whiffed.
I mean,
But like Zion's not doing his thing. Lonzo's not doing his thing. Brandon Ingram's not really doing his thing. I don't know what's not working. They should be one of the best young teams.
Adams too. Steven Adams is one of the most he's one of the roughest players in the league to go up against while he's on defense.
I
If you see Steven Adams waiting for you at the rim, you better be scared.
I don't know what's not working in New Orleans. Zion.
They got Zion and Steven Adams protecting the paint.
But Zion's been pretty terrible defensively though this season. He's just not doing what they need Zion to do because he isn't at his best. He's an explosive guy, blocking shots, making plays, hustle plays, but he's just not doing that this year. They need to get him in the right spot, both mentally, physically, technically, because when Zion is clicking the way he was towards the end of last season, they are a dominant team, explosive team, a fun team, but it is not clicking right now, man.
I don't know what's happening. That's my sleeper team that I had hopes for this season.
They should have been good.
The Pelicans.
They should have been good.
I hate that everyone's always talking about LaMelo. Yes, I get it. LaMelo's good and all. LaMelo's maybe better than his brother, but
LaMelo is definitely fun. He is a interesting player with fun highlights and a good energy.
I just don't like his immaturity.
That is undeniable. He is 19 in every way. He is selfish play sometimes, stupid play sometimes, kind of a goofball, which is sometimes good. That's not always a bad thing. He seems to love playing the game, which is always fun. I love players who just.
I mean, that's a really good attribute to have. If you love playing,
he is just still a little too immature. Like I saw something on Instagram where someone was already talking about him saying he wants to leave the Hornets when his rookie contract expires. And when I saw that, I was like, the guy's played like 12 games. Can we wait a little bit before the free agent talk? Golly.
I can't believe what's happening to the Miami Heat.
I don't know what's going on right now, man.
I mean, maybe I don't want to, make excuses, but you think COVID has anything to do with these teams?
Oh, absolutely. It's got to play some role. Something this big and important and dominating your entire.
It plays a role in the NFL.
It plays a role in everything. The entire world, literally all the things. So it plays a factor. But even still, like Miami, man, something's just not clicking right now.
I can't believe they started Debo over Tyler Hero. I've talked to you about this before.
I don't know, man. Tyler Hero should probably be given more of a burden, right? Trust the guy. Give him his due.
I said it last season during the finals. I'll say it again. Tyler Hero's a bad man.
All right. Here's a question for you about Tyler Hero. When does he make an all-star team?
7 years from now.
7 years from now.
He is a very good player, but he still has a lot to learn.
7 years. I was thinking like 2 years from now.
No, I don't think so.
You think he's gonna be more of a slow burn bench guy?
He's gonna be a slow developed player, and he's just it's gonna be like Giannis.
It's gonna take like 3-4 years for him to fully figure it out.
Yeah, it'll take a few years to fully figure it out. Then about maybe 1 or 2 more to like unlock his full potential of being a star guard in the league.
I mean, that's fair. if he continues on this upward path, I could see him being legitimately great, like as soon as next year, to be honest with you. But it's funny with NBA guys, like they're so young, we forget. Like sometimes it takes until your mid-20s to finally figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I think D'Angelo Russell's like a really good example of that. He was in LA for like 3 years, right? He was pretty bad. No offense, D'Angelo. And then he gets traded and he starts to figure it out with the Nets, because sometimes it takes a guy a couple years when you're that young to put it all together. I don't know, man. NBA is a weird thing, and the COVID era of NBA is truly bizarre. Hopefully things will finally get better soon.
This year, the season is short.
It is. It's still going to end like it would in a normal season, but it started a lot later. But honestly, respect to the NFL, kind of. So far, assuming the Super Bowl goes well, like, cross your fingers, knock on wood, they've played every game. Whether they should have played every game, whether what they're doing is ethical, that's a different debate. But they got every game, all the playoffs, with one Super Bowl left. I guess respect, even if some of it is questionable, to say the least.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's going to do it. Thanks, everybody, for listening to episode 1 of the Playmakers Podcast. Very exciting. Very exciting. Can't wait for next week. We'll talk about the Super Bowl, talk about NFL honors, maybe touch the Pro Bowl.
The Pro Bowl played on Madden. No. The players are having a tournament on EA's NFL Madden 21. No, we're not talking about the Pro Bowl. It is not the Pro Bowl. As far as I'm concerned, that is not the Pro Bowl.
No, it is not. The Pro Bowl is sometimes fun. This year, it will not be fun. But yeah, NFL honors, Super Bowl preview. College lacrosse starts next week. I will be talking about that, of course. Mikey Sowers and Duke. He's about to break some records with that crazy team.
Yeah, that's
soccer's happening all around the world. What?
That's all you. I don't know anything about lacrosse.
Bro, Mikey Sowers and Duke. If you're not watching that, you are failing as a sports fan. That is going to be must-see TV. That dude, chef's kiss. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Before we leave,
gasp.
I want to ask everybody to comment in the video for next week. Was Lamar Jackson really running to the bathroom because he had to poop?
The answer is yes. If you say anything otherwise, you're just wrong.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe. And we will see you next week.
All right. Thank you, everybody.